I've been in corporate America for going on 4 years now, and after a handful of promotions, awards, and recognition, I finally feel like I'm in the place in my career where I feel good, I feel successful. And let me tell you, that is an amazing place to be as a young Black woman. But it wasn't always this way. And I feel like a lot of women, especially Black women, oftentimes struggle with figuring out how to navigate the corporate world because it looks so different for us. And through trial and error, I have learned a lot over the past 4 years, so I want to share with you how Black women really succeed in corporate America. From the mindset, to the look, to the performance, we're gonna unpack it all today. So if you're ready to thrive in corporate America without losing yourself, buckle in. Now, I want to talk about the mindset first because that truly is going to unlock everything else. And something that I wish I affirmed way harder and way more often towards the beginning of my career is the fact that I belong here. Even some of the most tenured, experienced, and successful people that I know tell me they still deal with imposter syndrome 20 years into their careers. But as a Black woman in corporate America, you need to understand that your differences are your superpower. The fact that you may not have the same connections or the same history or same experience as other people is actually the greatest thing that you could bring to the table. Your unique experience is your superpower. I remember a couple years ago on my team, I was super insecure about being the youngest person, constantly feeling like I didn't know enough, wondering what it was that I brought to the table. Until one day, my boss was wanting to do some sort of team building activity and a low stakes, like fun call. And of course, none of my older millennial or boomer coworkers really knew what to do. But me being young and hip, I was able to go on TikTok, I looked at some Instagrams and pulled together a great activity for us to do over Zoom. So you see, in that moment, something that I had been almost ashamed of ended up being a great advantage. I was able to help my boss with a project that was important to them and create a fun memory for my team. For you, this might look like knowing about certain pop culture things or remembering something from your hometown that's relevant to a problem someone's having. When you're one of one or one of few, then your perspective provides a unique value. So own it and bring it with you every time. Your unique perspective and experience is so valuable. So be yourself. Your humor, your interests, your hobbies, they're not things that you have to hide. But just remember to keep it cute when the situation calls for it. This is something that I really want to mention, especially in today's culture. And if you're a sales girly like me, you're often going to dinners or happy hours and times where alcohol is involved. And as a young Black woman, you have to be careful, okay? Don't get me wrong. You can have fun, you can have friends, but when Karen from HR is twerking at the holiday party, it looks a lot different than when you start doing it. And you don't even have to keep it cute with everyone. Like, I know for me personally, there are a few people that I work with that I am totally comfortable with them seeing my wild side. But just know for us, heavy is the head that wears the crown. There are some things that you might have to step back from or say no to in order to keep it professional and still real. Speaking of professional but real, I want to talk about the look and how I've approached my hair, my clothes, and everything in corporate America. And some of y'all might be ready to fight me after this, but I need to speak my truth. The way that I personally have approached it in corporate America is keeping my looks timeless. And what I mean by that is I want to be able to look at a picture of me today, 20 years from now, and not wonder what the I was thinking. So I really stay away from trends, especially when it comes to the fashion, and just keep things relatively simple. For my hair, that looks like staying close to my natural color, give or take some highlights here and there, and switching between things like sew-ins, my natural hair, braids. And I've been getting the same French manicure for about 5 years now. Okay, so now we're looking good. We're feeling good about ourselves. How do we show up at work? How do we get noticed? How do you continue to level up? 3 words: volunteer, connect, and risk. Volunteer early and often. This is something I did at the beginning of my career that really set me up for success all the way up until now. In group chats, when people were asking for ideas or needing help, I was one of the first people to reach out. And if my boss needed help with something, I was the first to volunteer. Now, never volunteer for something unless you're actually willing to take it on. But I will say sometimes people don't end up actually needing your help, but they will remember that you offered to help them. So when your leadership is thinking about new opportunities for growth or new initiatives, there they're always gonna have you in mind. Second, you gotta be willing to risk it for the plot. This is actually how I got my second promotion. There was an opportunity for a promotion, but it required a move from San Diego to San Francisco. And I was the only internally qualified person who was willing to make the move. And taking that risk has paid off about tenfold at this point for me. And I can say that you will never regret taking a risk for growth. It also scored me huge brownie points with my leadership, which brings up point number 3, connect. You need to be fostering connections with the people around you, especially leadership. Listen to their goals, listen to what they talk about, pay attention to little slips in conversations where they mention their personal life. Try to empathize and really connect with the people around you at work. It is a job, but we're all people at the end of the day. And for me, creating a space where I had a genuine person-to-person connection with people around me really helped me to not only be a better colleague to them, but also them being a better colleague to me, helping me out, keeping me in mind. And as I listened to their goals, they listened to mine, and we were able to give and take. I'll never forget one of my first directors introduced me to this concept of the bank of trust, or the bank of goodwill. And he explained that trust and goodwill is like a bank transaction. You can't take anything out if you haven't been putting anything in. So your work interaction should be like those bank transactions. Make big deposits so every so often you can make a withdrawal. And that is how to succeed in business without really trying. I'm sorry, I'm a retired theater kid. I had to make that joke. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this video. Black women in corporate America, please sound off in the comments. Any other tips or advice that you would offer? I think we all would benefit from hearing it. And I'll see you guys the next time. Bye.